Hi, my name is Saqib Iqbal. I'm a founding member of SA Consultants. I'm a fellow member of ACCA. We have been doing a lot of work and serving our local companies in UAE since 2020. We are into accounting, taxation. We are registered auditors in Dubai. We are registered tax agents in Dubai. And so we've been actually, like serving a lot of companies from IT background, oil and gas sector, trading, restaurants, hospitality, and so many other companies we've been serving. And so far, it's a very good experience. And today we are starting a new series, which is about decoding the tax, which is coming in starting from 1st June 2023. So we will be trying to help all the local businesses to understand corporate tax in more detail and in more brief manner.
Hello, everyone. My name is Muhammad Umar, and I'm also an FCCA. We are here to support you and to let you understand in an easy way what the corporate tax in UAE meant to be for you, specifically for each and every member who is looking at us. So we are trying our best to make the corporate tax easy to understand for you guys. Hi, Mr. Saqib. Can you briefly let us know about the corporate tax in UAE?
Well, corporate tax law was introduced last year, and so far we already have received the degree law. Corporate tax is starting from 1st June 2023, and formally it will be implemented from 1st June 2023. And there are a lot of things. It's basically a direct tax which will be applied to the profits of a corporation or a company. There are different slabs which will be applied, which we can actually explain in our later discussion. But how it is going to be applied, of course, and the registration has already been starting, and it's this is the decision time for the people in UAE to make, and they have to start, roll up their sleeves, and they have to start implementing this new change.
So you have mentioned the direct tax thing. So what is meant by direct tax? Can you explain a little bit?
Well, there are two types of taxation generally. One where the government is directly collecting the tax from the person or a company, and the on the other hand, the indirect taxation, which is indirectly applied to the consumers or directly being generated as a formal income for the government. So the corporate tax is specifically applied on the net profits of the companies being registered within the UAE. There is no such thing where the companies are exempted or there are some exceptions, but everyone has to follow the new rules, of course.
Great, that's really good. So the next thing which I want to ask you is there any specific rates for the corporate tax, or on which you have to pay like this much amount you have to pay if you are earning like the rest of the world is following? So is there any specific rules or specific percentage or slabs or something like that?
No, obviously there is actually, and there are three different slabs which have been applied. The first is 0%, the second is 9%, and the third one is 15%. Now, directly, most of the companies within the UAE will be, affected by the 0% and 9%. Of course, they need to think in a way that either it is going to be 0% or 9%, but how it is going to be applied, of course. So the first net profits portion, which is like 375,000 dirhams of net profits of a company in 12 months period, which is the financial period or a taxable period. So up to 375,000 dirhams, it will be 0%, and anything over and above will be taxed at 9%. But the third slab, there is another slab which is basically applied on the large corporations, which means like very major in NMCs, multinational companies, and those multinational companies will have to pay, like a different slab, which is going to be 15%.
Great, that's really informative. But on a lighter note, I really love the 0% thing.
No, obviously there are few things. I'm pretty much sure you must be familiar about the exemption of from the corporate tax as well, which has recently been announced for the smaller enterprises where they have linked it to their level of revenues. So up to 3 million, any company which is technically earning a certain level of revenue, which is going to be like 3 million dirhams in a year. So if they do not actually cross that threshold, so they can actually get or apply for the exemption from filing the corporate tax at all.
So what I understand that if someone is getting the profit more than 375,000 dirhams in a 12 months period, still you can eligible to get a 0%.
Up to 375,000, yes, it is 0%.
Okay.
But if the revenues are less than that, so they can actually get the exemption.
So is there any specific requirement for that to meet that thing for 3 million? Let's say I'm earning 3 million dirhams. I'm lesser than 3 million, but in net profits, on the bottom of my net profits, I'm earning more than the threshold of the net profit, 375,000. So how can I still be eligible to get that one? Is there any specific requirement?
Yes, of course. That is basically you have to follow a three years time period or time frame. So consecutively in 3 years, if you are earning revenues less than 3 million dirhams, then yes, you can be eligible for the exemption. But in during those 3 years period, if you actually cross that limit, then you actually have to pay the older amounts as due taxes or liability, which was there on the previous years. So yes, there is, of course.
So it means the effect will be retrospective, not
The
prospective.
effect will be retrospective, of course.
Okay, that's really cool. So if we talk about the companies, so which companies who have to have, like we see back in 2018 when VAT came in, so there are some specific limits. If you cross that one, you have to get registered with the taxation authority to get a TRN number. If you didn't cross that limit, you are not eligible for that. So don't do that. Don't register. So is anything like that here as well? So some of the companies have to register, and some of the companies are not eligible to have registered. Is something like
I think
that, or
this is a very straightforward. There is a very straightforward answer to this question, and that is that every company has to register. There is no exception.
Okay.
From the registration point of view, there is no exception. Yes, there are different exceptions or exemptions could be available based on the types of revenues or types of income streams, which needs to be like discussed in detail. But from the registration point of view, no, there is no exception.
So what I know with my small knowledge, there are a couple of other like formations of the company, or a couple of different like variants, you can say in a simple word for everyone, that some of the companies are limited liabilities company, some of the companies are FZC, which is called free zone company, or FZE, or some of the companies are FZCO, and even some of the are sole establishments also there. So like in any scenario, whatever the establishment is, wherever you take the license in, so everyone have to get registered. Is it
technically yes, of course, every single company would registered within the UAE, whether it is part of a free zone, whether it is a part of non-designated zone or a designated zone, or it's part of a mainland of any state. So they have to register for corporate tax, of course. So Umar, I think when we were discussing previously, especially from the free zones perspective, because what I've seen is when we were discussing with outside in the market with a lot of people, they have this misconception, and I want to like use this word misconception because I know from my experience and from the details which I have gathered from the market, people were not being able to understand the concept of corporate tax. People think that the free zone companies are exempt from corporate tax. Is that, what do you actually say about it?
So actually, there is no concept of like that this is free zone company, so it's exempt, or this is mainland company, it is exempt. It's not about the company. It's about the qualifying income. Do you have a qualifying income, or you don't have a qualifying income? If you have a qualifying income, then there is a separate treatment for that. If it is not qualified, then a separate treatment for that. So it is very straightforward. So as you informed us that every company have to get registered. So as far as every company is going to register that one, why is every company registered, because once you registered, then you have to prove, okay, I'm not getting that much money. My net profits are lesser than the specific limit, so that's why I'm not paying.
And also, there is another point where if you are basically earning any qualifying income stream, and you
Exactly.
have a qualifying income stream, so you have to disclose that, of course.
Exactly.
And
Exactly.
it's not about actually registering or not registering. Of course, either
It's-
way, you have to register.
you have to register.
But you have to actually define your corporate tax liability in a way. You have to calculate in a way
Exactly.
which is defined and described or prescribed by the
Exactly.
FTA. of course.
And that qualifying income, one thing more very important, that qualifying income thing, we are still waiting from the authorities side. They will give the explanation on that one, that this is the pre-qualification area to get a qualifying income. So once it will be in place, then we will be in a position that we will inform, okay, you are a free zone or you are a mainland, and out of your total income, this much income or this particular income is a qualifying one. So you can go for a 0%, or you can go for a subsidized rate or something like that. But once that particular clarification comes in, so right now we cannot say any specific wording onto that. Later on, definitely once it came, we'll discuss on
So
that particular
basically,
thing.
from the journal point of view, when we are discussing this, what was the deadline, or is there any specific sort of deadline or a starting point from where every company needs to register?
So actually, FTA in their latest portal, which they have updated, they do a lot of emerging here and there things, and that the one of the fantastic thing they have done, they have put everything in one place, and now you can approach your excise tax, your VAT, your corporate tax, and all those things on a one place. So they done a fantastic job. This is the first thing, and that is called Imara tax. So under the Imara tax, they launched on like 15th of May this month, the current month which we are standing right now. In this month, from 15th of May, they have launched that one, that you can go there and you can register yourself.
So that means people have already started registering, right?
Yes, people have already started that one, and this is very much important. So it is putting you in a position where you are getting the updated information from the FTA, where you are going to plan for the next financial year. So that is your financial year, that will be your tax year. So accordingly, they are going to plan in their books of accounts. They are going to plan, their books should be according complying with the tax rules, so that at the end of your tax period, you will be able to have a crystal clear books which is showing the exact figures which you have to present in your tax return even. So this is very much important, that if you are going to ultimately you have to have. So why you have to wait for that one? It is very easy process. You have to go there, you have to register yourself, but try to get some expert opinion from your professional accountant sitting inside your office or something like
it's
that.
not that simple. Why? Because why I would say this, it's not simple. For